We're going to continue our discussion here with exponents and look what happens when you raise something to the 0 power and to the negative power. When you raise anything to the 0 power, it's equal to 1. So 98 to the 0 power, well, that equals 1. 2/3 to the 0 power, that equals 1. -4 to the 0 power, that equals 1. X to the 0, that equals 1. Quantity 2c raised to the 0, that equals 1. Anything raised to the 0 power equals 1. When you raise anything to the negative power, you can write it then as a fraction. So it's like doing the reciprocal. So if you look at 2 to the -3, well, that's going to equal 1 over 2 to the third. So you write the reciprocal and you switch the sign of the exponent, and 1 over 2 to the third equals 1 over 8. If we look at the part B here, -8, quantity -8 raised to the -2, well, that's like saying we've got 1 over -8 squared, because we're writing the reciprocal and changing the sign of the exponent, and that means 1 over -8 times -8. So that's like saying 1 over -8 times -8, and that is equal to 1 over 64. Alright, part C here, we have quantity 1/5 raised to the -3rd. Again, we can write this as a fraction. We put 1 over 1/5 to the 3rd power. And when we do that, that means we've got 1 over 1/5 times 1/5 times 1/5. And when you do that, you get 1 over 1 to the 125th, which also equals 125th 5 to the -1st. This also applies when you have a variable. So in part D here, y to the -100th means we have 1 over y to the +100th. This also goes the other way. So we have 1 over 2 to the -3rd. That's like saying we have 2 to the +3rd. If we have 1 in part B, if we have 1 over a to the -10th, that's like saying a to the +10th. If we have 1 over 3 squared, 1 over 3 to the -2 times b to the -9th, that's like saying we've got 3 to the +2nd and b to the +9th, and this equals 9 times b to the 9th. Alright, so here in these examples, part A, we've got 6 to the -4th times 6 to the 4th. They've got the same base. They both have a 6 for their base, so we can add the exponents. So this looks like 6 to the -4th plus 6 to the plus the 4th, and when you add those together, you get 6 to the 0. Anything raised to the 0 power equals 1. In the next example, B here, we have 3 to the 5th times 3 to the -6th. Again, they have the same base. They both have a 3, so we can write this as 3 to the 5th plus -6. When you add those together, you get 3 to the -1, and that can be written as 1 over 3. This next example here, we have 4 to the -2 in parentheses squared. That means we've got -4 to the -2 times -4 to the -2, and that's like multiplying things together at the same base, so we can say it's -4 to the -2 plus -2. When we do that, we get -4 to the -4th. We can write that as a, put this in parentheses, that as a fraction. That's like saying 1 over all of -4 to the 4th. And 1 over quantity of -4 to the 4th is 1 over 256. Right, when we divide things with the same base, as in part D here, we can subtract the exponents. This is like saying 5 to the -1 minus 2. When you put those, simplify that, you get 5 to the -3, which is the same as 1 over 5 to the third, and when you simplify 5 to the third, you get 1 over 125.